Hello, will we have peace in the Middle East in with Israel? Let's look at that. Let's look at will there be a government shutdown? So let's do an update. I've read on these things, but there when I look at this energy, it's like a big ball of chaos rolling through our country and the government. And who knew the person at the top is like the chaos master. I feel like in case you haven't noticed, I'm not a fan. We're all being um, nationally abused. Even the world is being abused by, yeah, okay. So because of all this chaos, and it's also a part of what we're going through here on Earth as we shift from an old paradigm to a new paradigm. And it's going to get worked out. But let's get down in the mud and look at, for entertainment purposes only. My name is Sybil Harmony. I'm a psychic and a medium, a master healer, and welcome to my channel. Let's look at why the military is meeting and with Hegseth again, hedgehog, we'll call him. I don't like saying names because it gets me in algorithms that maybe I don't want to be in. Let's look at Portland, and let's look at will Mondami win? So that's a good one. Let's start with Mondami. And, this happened with Bernie Sanders. Anybody who's too progressive, sometimes the established media, Democrats don't really want to get behind him. But I feel, Kathy Hochul endorsed him. And not Jeffries or Schumer. So how do you doing there? Okay, but let's look at Mondami. And by the way, if you're subscribed to my channel, would you please check and make sure you're subscribed? I had a lot of people unsubscribed, so please make sure. It really helps me out. I really would appreciate it. And drop a like if you don't mind. It's really helpful. You can post questions on my community page under post, and I'll put up another link there for my next video, possibly on Wednesday. I also have spiritual videos that come out on this channel, and we'll talk a little bit more. Let's look at Mondami. Will he win? So I'm going to look at him. I just got a yes. I feel like he is divinely ordered, and people are like just so excited about him. I feel like they want to give him the kingly crown and the robe, and he's like, no, I'm not the king, because the costs of New York are just so high, and he is working with corporate America, so that's good. He's trying to work, with not just across the aisle, but within his party. So how will Mondami win? I feel like it. I feel like a yes. Yeah, there he is. So that'd be my card for him. That's him. And these is Democrats. Okay. Particularly women. People are looking for something new, and some people are feeling like I'll take a chance. Okay. We're looking for somebody different, new. Yeah, there you go. I think it looks really good for him. So that's part of the new energy coming in. Younger people getting stuff done. And I feel like he will. Let me see. I feel like he's going to work hard. I feel like he's really going to try to lift people up, families. So, okay. Let's look at what's going on in Portland again. And the military, a meeting with Hedgehog. Well, first let's look at Hedgehog. And then I'm going to answer some of your questions you left on my post page. So when I look at Portland, I see two young men and they look kind of depressed. And one of them is trying to help the other off the ground. So I thought that was possibly an injury. I don't know that there's going to be injury so much. When I look at that, as I continue to look at it, maybe it looks like kind of like they're really bummed, like these young guys. They're really bummed out. I mean, they're the orange one is sending troops there because they're protesters in front of ICE or something, and there was like 30 protesters. So, and nothing. The fires they started were when, like, from years ago during the George, the Black Lives Matter. Then there were fires and they actually took over buildings. So, I mean, then at least you could say, well, we have, good reason. But now it's like years later. And I mean, I'm not saying they should send the military in there if they do. If these people it's a very progressive city and a lot of young people, and they just kind of took over buildings, and there were fires. And I feel like some of that was from outside agitators trying to make them look bad. But, of course, we don't want fires, but we want people standing up, and, it's our right to protest. And so, I mean, it's a little dollar late and a day short. And we're back there because of that, because of 30 protesters. I mean, it's just ridiculous. So what he's doing is he's trying to be in control of everything. He wants to control everything. And he wants to use the military to frighten people. And there's a lot of fear and a lot of anger now. And his policies have made it, I'll say, worse. We're kind of in that time where just a lot of people are, stressed, working hard, paying more money. And if you're on the edge, if you were already vulnerable, you're very likely to fall off the edge. We have more shootings, more mental illness. I mean, we're really not taking care of our people here, and we haven't for a while. I mean, maybe we've been trying to, but trying is dying. We're not getting it, Okay, so I'll stop preaching here. So let's look at Portland. And yeah, I see these two young guys. They just look a little bummed out, There's a lawsuit now. Okay, let's look at, will they win the lawsuit that the military should not come there? This is also about stealing the election. And I don't feel like this whole thing is going to be a big thing. I mean, it is a big deal, but I don't feel like, we're looking at Armageddon or something. I just feel like it's, a couple guys are bummed out because they can't, they're like, rah, rah, we're standing up for our rights. And then they look kind of bummed out, kind of down. Okay, let's look at how are we asking this question? Will the lawsuit win to stop the military from invading an American city? I'm seeing psychically, I feel like they're going to win. I get a yes. Let's see what the cards say. So this is the protesters leaving. What is that? Oh, to get them to go away. The military. Okay, that's what it is. All right. It's a manipulation. Yeah, they're going to win. I feel like this is going to, yeah. I feel a lot of hope for Portland. I mean, because business people don't want this there. People, like regular business people and people with businesses there, are looking at this going like, what? We don't want occupied the military. And here we go. Yeah, so I feel like this is going to look bad for the administration. And I feel like Portland wins. Cool. Yeah, every time they do this, it actually it makes it worse for them because they end up just pissing more people off. Where you before you were just hearing it in the news, when they come to your town, they're like, "What?" People who weren't paying attention are now like, "Wait a minute, why are they here?" I mean, it's just so obvious that they're just, trying to control everything or scare people and the military doesn't want to do it either. What they're like picking up garbage, getting heckled. Somebody, I guess in DC, threw a ham sandwich at one of them. And it's not their fault. They're following orders. But I feel like let's look at this meeting with the military in Quantico, I think it is, where Hedgehog and the orange one have called all the generals in. Hello, generals, you're being bugged. That's the first thing I see. It's a loyalty test. They're trying to because they got the ICE agents, these crooks with masks on, going around grabbing people. So they like to but they want to know if they can, because he tried to do this when he lost in 2020, do a military coup, but now he really wants to see if he can do it. But he's got to it's like gangsters. You got to be loyal to him. Obviously, if you do, you're going to have to pay, and then you'll pay and pay. There's no end to a bully. If you give the bully your lunch money, he'll be back the next day asking for more. Okay. So he's not going to turn around and I'll be your friend. So they're trying to bully the military and they're spying on. Hello, you're getting spied on. So I feel like they're listening devices in that room and they're going to leave them alone. That's what I see, a bug or a microphone in there. They're going to leave them alone and try to listen. Let's see who's really on our side. Because they have no good policy. They're not here for the America, saving America. They're here for their own agenda of making money and taking power. So for them, not for us. So the military, they know this. Now they're going to play along. I feel like they play along. So when I did a reading, I said like the military looks like they're in agreement because they're going to say, "Oh yeah," because they don't want to get fired. Because anybody who they find out is not on their side, they're going to be ousted. I feel like a lot of them are afraid. We need to say prayers for them because they're being not threatened, but threatened. There's a lot of this is really dark stuff. Yeah. And so you don't need to be afraid because this is going to work out, but it's just like we're just seeing them in real time. It's like a movie. I almost like get the popcorn and watch the movie. But because it's going to work out, but yeah, they're going to try everything they can to win the midterms because once Epstein files are coming out, once those come out, I mean, the information's already out there. I mean, you have to be have your head in a hole not to recognize the information is already out there. But we need, of course, evidence for courts and official people in high places like Congress or wherever to announce we have, written evidence and picture evidence and writings and signatures. I mean, we already got so much, but yeah, I mean, it's just like, if it walks like a duck and quacks like a duck, it's probably a duck. It's probably a pedophile. If it hangs out with pedophiles, I mean, you can't for 15. I mean, he's already been convicted of rape, or I'm sorry, it was not technically, it was molesting. And what's her name? E. Jean Carroll won money because there's the list of other women. I don't even know who they all are. I can't keep track. So many women, and he said he could grab them by the what. He does not respect women. And Yeah. So I mean, his wife was one of them herself too. I mean, it's just like it's like right in our face. But yeah, we have to have the evidence to so people, can come out and it can, go to court and all that. So okay, let's get back to the military. Yeah, so that's coming out. He's getting booed everywhere. And yeah, so well, there's something else about the military I want to look at. But let's look at first. Is he going to be able to? I feel like there's a couple that will go along with him. I feel like there's a small amount. Let's look at what are the percentage of generals that will follow through with his agenda to like take over cities or steal elections. I mean, like they're ordered, they can't say no, I think. But I don't think they would shoot American people or hurt American people. So what is the percent of the military that will back up his, autocratic dictator plan here? Show me 3 cards. Huh. Yeah, I don't know if that's the right way to ask this question. I feel like less than a lot of them won't. Okay? A lot of them won't. Enough so that we'll be okay. Now they have to, when they're deployed to a city, they have to go out and do that. Will the enlisted men follow through with 45's plans to like steal elections and intimidate people, and if he's still even in there that long? Will the enlisted men follow orders to try to take over, intimidate people at election? Now I feel like the lawsuits are gonna come in here. You can't do that, okay? He's gonna try. Now, I want to look at peace, and let's look at the shutdown. So, he's meeting. The orange one is meeting with the head of Israel, and they're talking about releasing the hostages and bringing peace to the war in Gaza. I want to look at first, should I look at that? Will the hostages be released? Yeah. Yeah, I feel like the hostages are going to be released. Okay. Maybe not all of them, but I don't want to say that what I'm seeing here, because I don't think it's right to share that on a YouTube video. But I do feel that there are going to be some hostages released. And let's say, will there be a ceasefire? I mean, that war has been going on for 5,000 years. So, I mean, but can we calm it down? And then he's going to claim he made peace. The orange one. Okay, so let's look at, will there be a ceasefire? Will there be a ceasefire? Eventually, yeah. Maybe not at first. At first, there's going to be continue fighting, but I feel like this is a good sign. Okay. And I feel like the country of Gaza is then going to be under some type of Arab country rule. Let's ask, will the orange one will they sell him space to build resorts in Gaza, which is really morbid, and like, who would want a vacation in a place where people were starved and killed? Getting held hostage. I mean, unless they make it a haunted house, which is horrific, and it's not something. It's now sacred ground. It's holy ground where people died. The earth holds memory. Even you could bulldoze all the buildings down, but that's never going to be. Maybe never is a long time, but I think that's going to be sacred land. But is he going to try to build a resort there? It's really gross. I mean, it's just, who would even think of that? It's just, okay, I can't. Okay, is he going to build a resort in Gaza? An illusion. Okay, so we have the illusion that he thinks he can create some nice place out of this, and the light will be shined. The light will shine. That's, people can see, like everyone can see what you're doing here. I mean, it's just, who thinks that way? This is decisions, like the Arab countries making a decision, like are they gonna working on it, past memories? No. I feel like countries starting with R or people might try to like make money on this. This is restoring the families and the children that died there and trying to work on that. Like who would, I mean, it's just beyond my scope of understanding, but I don't need to understand it. I figured out a long time ago, do not try to understand evil, crazy, narcissistic people. Just, yeah. Okay. Now let's look at the shutdown. They're meeting now. I felt like, what's his name, Orange One, doesn't even care. He does not care. He really doesn't. But now that he's getting booed, and yeah, it will kind of look bad. And I mean, he could fire a bunch of people and blame a bunch of people. I saw about a shutdown for like a week and a half. Let's ask it this way. Will the Democrats get their help finally standing up to something? Schumer and Jeffries, will they get health care money, cost or funding for Obamacare? Will they get health care funding, cost for Obamacare? Woo! I just saw some nasty spirit there. Woo! People are watching. Yeah, looks like they will. It's a good message to put out. Yeah. Looks like they're willing to try to walk off the cliff saying, no, we want a new start here. They got to do something, you know. Just a strongly worded letter when you've got crooks in the White House isn't going to do it. Oh, shoot. They're going to try. I don't know if they can. Oh, shoot. I know Tylenol's going to sue the president. I mean, obviously you need to take drugs as they're subscribed, recommended, even over-the-counter drugs. But after what he did, they're going to sue him and they're going to win. I mean, you can't just go on there and say these things. I mean, I just, like, what are you thinking? Okay. I'm not the big, I take Tylenol if I'm in pain, but it's not something you want to just take every day. You got to address what's really going on, but, and follow the directions. Okay. I'm not a doctor. I can't tell people whether they should or shouldn't take something. He's not a doctor either, and he's telling people what they should and shouldn't take, and now he's going to get sued. Okay, for entertainment purposes only. Okay. So I feel like they're not going to get the money they want. Don't worry, we'll get it back in the midterms. I feel like they are not going to get So is the government going to shut down? I mean, it's almost like, is it going to shut down? Are they going to give them, because they can't give them a win of what they want. And so if you are a smart Democrat negotiator and you know these people, you don't ask them for what you want because you're not going to get it because they can't let you get a win. But then what you really want, you have that under, in private, like we'll do this, okay? And then they can let you have that without making it look like they that they lost and the Dems got to win. You see what I'm saying? It's like a cat and mouse shell game. You can't let them think. People don't want to look like they let the Dems win, okay? And neither does the orange one. He doesn't want it to look like they won. They want it to look like we're in control of everything. So, which they think is a good look. I think it's not, but okay. So, I mean, you could play a shell game if you had a brain in your head, okay. That I know that what they're doing, they have to put out a message that people will understand. But let's just ask again, will there be a government shutdown? Yeah. Yeah, they're going to walk off the cliff. Yeah. Yes, there will. How long? How long? Days, weeks? No longer than 2 weeks. I said a week and a half before. I'm looking at about, months, weeks, week or two. Will the Democrats cave on what they're? Yeah, I already looked at that. Will the Democrats they'll give them something else that they can say, we got this. Will they give them something else? Yeah, I see Hakeem Jeffrey saying, we got this. Yeah, they're going to work on something. Huh. Will the Republicans let them get something else? Similar or something like that? Yeah, so they can everybody wants to have a good message rather than really doing something to help people. They want to have a good message. Yeah, they're going to give them something. I don't know what it is, but they're going to figure something out. So, okay. Let's look at some of your questions here. Okay, come back. This one is, will China invade Taiwan? On a personal level, did my mom have a stroke? What can we do to help her recover? Okay. So she needs medical care. That's not something I can do over the YouTube channel. I'm feeling like a lot of times elderly people have a small stroke. So, and in this current energy, I wouldn't be surprised. I'd have to look at her in a reading, not in a setting like this, but I feel like she needs medical assistance with that. There are a lot of new studies out that people who do isometric toning of their muscles, there are things you can do for your circulation, and there's dietary things and such, and you can Google those, but you would need to talk to your doctor about if there's been a stroke, okay? If she can get in, sometimes people can't get in. And so Is China getting ready to invade Taiwan? Now, what I wanted to say before when I was looking at the military, when they're trying to get the military to be on the orange one side, is that they probably are going to start some kind of a war somewhere, because if they get peace in the Middle East, the military industrial complex needs to be making money. So they need there to be a war somewhere. Unfortunately, that's the world that we live in. So they'll probably start something else up somewhere and say it's about, keeping drugs out of the country or something. So unfortunately, that's the world we live in. Let's look at war in China. In Taiwan. Will China do war? Yeah, I don't know when. It looks like they're going to try something. It's about, they're trying to be a bully, you know? Yeah. They're looking at it. I don't know when. But yeah, I would be just prepared not to scare people. But it doesn't look like a huge war. It just looks like some kind of battle. Okay, it doesn't look like a full blown, what happened in Gaza. Yeah, and that could change. I don't know when, but okay. So sorry to say that, but yeah. I looked at the generals gathering at Quantico. Should I continue with the home purchase? I want to ensure I'm making the right choice. So a lot of these questions that are really important, that's not something I can answer in 5 minutes on a YouTube video. And I'm not a financial planner. I don't really even know your name. So it's irresponsible for me if I were to give people out advice on life decisions over a YouTube video. That's something that requires sitting down and looking at it. And I think I see your name, so I'm just going to ask here because I want to give you some help and some guidance. I think what I'm getting is I think you know the answer, but you're in a lot of fear. And so sometimes when you step back and don't take an action, the right move will come to you. And so I would ask your guides, I would go into prayer, help me to know what the right move is here. And sometimes we want to force something to fix a problem, and then we just create another problem. So forcing things when, out of fear is never a good idea. Making decisions out of this feels right or positive, like I really am happy about this, that feels like a good decision for you when you feel into it, when you kind of step back and feel into an issue, because you actually have the answer. You're just not seeing it because you're in the middle of it and you might be afraid or stressed. So that's what I'm getting. Having said all that, I will pull 3 cards for you. Should she purchase the home? Go ahead and purchase the home. I feel like eventually this could work out for you. I don't know if you're going to get that one, but it feels like your intentions and your energy was good to start with. You're under a lot of stress. This is huge. Moving is a huge life event, but I feel like it's going to work out for you. Okay. So once again, I don't want you making life decisions on what any psychic says, even any financial planner. You have to learn to trust yourself. And that's what I teach people in my classes. I have a class coming up this Saturday on healing. I have members group. I teach people to tune into their own guidance system because I'm just a person that has practice with this. Everybody can do this. And so it's like learning how to make good decisions. How does it feel when it's the right decision? And then so everything you do, you're learning from it. Whether it works out or not, the only wrong decisions are ones that you didn't make in a way. Okay? So you're learning how to trust yourself and make good decisions, which is important in every area of your life. And that's about being grounded, being in alignment, and knowing what your truth is. You see what I'm saying? And to some people, that feels like it's that's way out of hand. Then that's even more of a reason why you want to breathe and ground and get out of the fear, get out of forcing things, and get into allowing, okay, and trusting. How does it feel when you've made decisions before that you trusted and they worked out? So that's important information for you to know because it's about you. Everything here is designed to teach you to develop and grow as a soul. These are all just, the monopoly pieces on the monopoly board of like the house, the money, the everything is just here to show you about how you develop and grow. Okay. So as strange as that may sound, but it's when you look at it, if you ask a psychic and energy healer, which I am, that's what we're looking at. Okay. I'm an empath and other clairs, but I recently can't get an answer on a simple message. I live in the desert, and she gets messages from feathers and clouds and ravens around. You have a palm tree and around, so she sees the ravens. I've had 3 ravens literally hover over the car. So they're trying to get your attention. They came to the side of the car and fly right over in front of the window while you're driving. Their presence right in front of my car. What are they saying? Okay. So when you have an animal come in around you, uh, the spirit world, it's a way of connecting you to messages. So ravens are the bird of magic, and the bird that can fly, and they're one of my animal totems. Might be in your animal totem. But ravens can fly to the other side. They cross through the barrier of the other side and back. So they're very mystical creatures connected with mediumship, which is the other side. They have come to you now to give you a message, and to be an animal totem, which is a guide for you now. Whether they may be a longtime ally of yours, but every animal, bird, even insect, even a negative one is showing you about energy. So they're really trying to connect with you and your spirit coming around your car. And they're very intelligent. Winged creatures are always about spirit. And so you can sit and ask them, what is it that you are wanting to show me? I feel like there's deceased people around you. I feel like there's spirits in the desert, and I feel like there's deceased people around you, and the ravens are coming in. Now, I don't want to, be negative, but the desert is going to get really hot. Okay. So you need to prepare for, like, whether you're doing a cellar where it's cool or whatever you're doing to protect yourself from climate change. But let's ask, what are the ravens telling her? They're talking about prosperity, your land, And I feel like things are happening very quickly for you. They're a protector for you. Whatever it is, you're going to find out pretty quickly. But they're talking about either the land or moving or your money. Okay? Let me ask them, are you talking about the moving? No, money. Protecting yourself physically from like the elements. Okay? Yeah, because they sense things are changing in the environment. And that's not to scare you, but it is to protect you. Okay? Is it a health issue? No. Is it finance? I feel like it has to do with the land. And I feel like that land might be very sacred. There's a lot of deceased people around you. It feels like you have mediumship ability. Okay? Let's look at some other questions. My phone is not letting me on here. Okay. What week do I see you moving, Betty, in October? First, second, third. I'd say the second week. Yeah, okay. One more. Yeah, there's somebody talking about the bullets, things written on the bullets. I feel like Cash Patel is gonna be in trouble for tampering with evidence and that whole the whole CK shooting. And a lot of psychics, I jumped on right away. I'm like, something's wrong here. I feel like if that guy, that young man did it, I feel like he didn't fire the shot. I feel like he's somehow involved or got paid to put his gun in the woods. Because there's no way all these things. Actually, the shot came from behind, and they said he was in front. And you can't carry a shotgun in your pants and jump off a roof. Yeah, you break your leg. I mean, it doesn't even make sense. And he didn't even throw it down and then jump down and get it. And how did it get dismantled in less than 5 minutes or 2 minutes, and then put out in the woods, back put together? I mean, the whole thing is just so amateur. And we're going to find out. We're going to find out. And I feel like Kash Patel is not long for his job because he just is way over his head. Okay. Thanks for tuning in. Check out my classes. I'm doing a past life regression class, November, I believe it's 22nd. And that's going to be a 2-hour class. I'm going to teach you we're going to do a past life regression for you so you can see a past life. And then you'll know how to do it all in 2 hours. So I studied with someone who trained with Dolores Cannon. And so I can teach people how to do that. It's going to be really fun. It's only a 2-hour class and it's only like $44. I have a healing class that's a little bit more, but it's an all-day class with a lot of information. That's October 4th. It's with a package of other classes that were on my website. But you don't have to take the other classes to join this one. I'll be teaching the other classes again next year. But you can take this one and join my memberships. My memberships is only like $15. There's an advanced membership for $25 or something if you want to support me. But I'm answering questions there, and we're doing group healings and super fun. All right. Thank you so much for tuning in and watching till the end. Sending you so much love. Bye for now.